Good morning/afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our session on the comprehensive guide to real estate ownership types. Today, we'll dive into the various legal structures and rights involved in owning real estate and explore how to select the best ownership form to fit your property investment goals. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out, this guide will help clarify your options and empower your decisions. Let's get started. When we talk about real estate, understanding the different types of ownership is really important. It helps us make smarter decisions about who has rights to property and what those rights actually mean. Each ownership type comes with its own legal responsibilities and protections, so knowing the differences can prevent a lot of confusion down the line. This knowledge is especially useful for property owners and investors, as it guides them in choosing the ownership structure that best fits their needs. Ultimately, being clear about how control, transferability, and risk are handled through these ownership types gives everyone involved much greater confidence and security. Sole ownership, or fee simple, means that one person holds complete and exclusive rights to a property. This individual has full control, which includes the ability to use, sell, lease, or pass the property on to heirs. With this control comes responsibility. They are accountable for maintenance costs, property taxes, and ensuring the property complies with all relevant laws. Sole ownership is considered the simplest and most absolute form of owning property, giving the owner exclusive rights without the need to share with anyone else. This clarity and control makes sole ownership a straightforward way to hold property. When we talk about joint tenancy, the first thing to understand is that all owners hold equal shares in the property. This means no one has a larger or smaller portion. Everyone's ownership is exactly the same. One of the most important features here is the right of survivorship. This means that if one owner passes away, their share doesn't go to their heirs, but instead automatically transfers to the remaining owners. Because of this, the deceased owner's share never becomes part of their estate, which can simplify matters and avoid some legal complications. Lastly, while they are alive, joint tenants share equal control and responsibility for property, so decisions and upkeep are a joint effort. This arrangement really emphasizes equality and continuity among owners. Tenancy in common is a form of property ownership where multiple owners hold fractional shares, and these shares don't have to be equal. One important aspect is that there's no right of survivorship, which means that when an owner passes away, their share doesn't automatically go to the other owners. Instead, each owner's share can be sold, transferred, or inherited independently. This makes tenancy in common a very flexible ownership type, especially popular among unrelated investors or individuals who want to maintain distinct ownership rights without the property automatically transferring upon death. The ability for each owner to independently manage their share gives everyone autonomy over their portion of property. Tenancy by the entirety is a unique form of property ownership designed specifically for married couples. What makes it special is that both spouses hold an equal share in the property, and there's a built-in right of survivorship. This means if one spouse passes away, the other automatically becomes the sole owner. Another key benefit is the protection it offers from creditors. If only one spouse has debts, those creditors generally cannot go after property held under tenancy by the entirety. Additionally, neither spouse can sell or take on debt against the property without the other's approval, ensuring that both partners are involved in any decisions affecting their home or investment. This creates a collaborative approach to managing and safeguarding the property. Community property is a legal concept that defines assets acquired during the marriage as being owned equally by both spouses. This means that it doesn't matter who actually earned the income or bought the property. Both partners have an equal stake. This principle is especially important in certain jurisdictions where it directly influences how property is divided if the couple divorces or when one spouse passes away. At its core, community property highlights the idea of shared ownership and financial partnership throughout the marriage, reinforcing that both spouses contribute equally to their shared life. When you own a condominium, you have an individual title to your specific unit within the larger property complex. This means you own your apartment or townhouse outright, just like owning a house. However, ownership doesn't stop there. Alongside your private unit, you also share ownership of common elements like hallways, elevators, and recreational facilities. These shared spaces are used by all residents. So maintaining them is a collective responsibility. While you're accountable for everything inside your unit, the upkeep and maintenance of the common areas require cooperation among all owners. To manage this process, there's a condominium association in place. This association enforces community rules, collects fees from owners, and ensures the building and facilities are properly maintained and repaired. It's this structure that helps keep the community running smoothly and preserves everyone's investment. In a cooperative ownership model, residents don't actually own their individual units outright. Instead, they own shares in a corporation that hold the title to the entire property. This means that your ownership is represented by your shares in cooperative rather than a deed to a physical unit. Each shareholder is granted the right to occupy a specific unit through what's called a proprietary lease or occupancy agreement. So while you live in a certain apartment, legally you're a shareholder in the cooperative, not the direct owner of the unit. One important aspect of this model is a collective decision-making process. Residents often participate in approving new members and other decisions, which makes the community more involved and cooperative in managing the property. This shared ownership and governance approach clearly sets cooperative ownership apart from traditional homeownership, where you directly own your property and have more individual control. Here, the emphasis is on shared responsibility and collective management. Trust ownership involves separating the legal ownership of real estate from the beneficial ownership. In this arrangement, the trustee holds a legal title to property and manages it based on the instructions laid out in the trust. This management is for the benefit of one or more beneficiaries who are entitled to the property's benefits. The role of the trustee is crucial. They are responsible for handling the property in line with the trust terms, ensuring everything is done properly and in the best interest of the beneficiaries. Trust ownership is commonly used in estate planning because it helps protect assets and allows for a smooth transfer of ownership. One of the key advantages is that it can bypass the often lengthy and costly probate process. Overall, the biggest benefit of using a trust is that it streamlines the transfer of property and guarantees that asset management follows the specific instructions set forth in the trust, giving peace of mind to all involved. On this slide, we'll explore the key differences among various types of property ownership. First, we have sole ownership, where one person has full control and responsibility over property. Then there's joint tenancy, which involves equal shares and includes a right of survivorship, meaning if one owner passes away, their share automatically transfers to the surviving owners. In contrast, tenancy in common allows for variable ownership shares without survivorship rights, so owners can sell or pass on their shares independently. Next, tenancy by the entirety is a form of ownership specifically for married couples, offering survivorship rights and added protections against creditors. Similarly, community property applies to spouses, granting equal ownership of property acquired during the marriage, regardless of who contributed more. Finally, we have some unique structures like condominiums, cooperatives, and trusts. Condominiums provide ownership of an individual unit, along with a shared interest in common areas and maintenance responsibilities. Cooperatives involve owning shares in a corporation that entitle you to occupy a unit, but not direct ownership of the property. Trust ownership means a legal title is held by a trustee, while the benefits go to the beneficiaries according to the trust agreement. Understanding these differences is crucial when deciding the best ownership type for your situation. When choosing the right type of ownership for real estate, several factors come into play. Your personal and financial goals are crucial, as well as any legal considerations and your relationship with other owners. It's important to really understand the characteristics of each ownership type, such as who has control, how easily the property can be transferred, what protections are in place, and the responsibilities involved. This helps make sure your investment fits your specific needs. Consulting with legal and financial experts can provide valuable guidance, helping you find the ownership structure that balances benefits and safeguards effectively. Ultimately, the key is to align the ownership type with your investment goals and risk tolerance, setting you up for a successful real estate venture.